I met the director of my favorite movie of all time, Ari Aster, and I got to see his new film Eddington a little bit early. This was my most anticipated movie of the year, and I do not think most people will like it, but I really did. This is a modern western that takes place during the height of the pandemic in 2020. Strangely, that is a perfect genre to approach this concept with, because the film is able to examine how COVID acted as an accelerant for the division politically and morally in America. Everyone is tripling down on their own differing beliefs until people live in completely separate realities from one another and are unable to reach each other. So when characters can't understand each other because they're both wearing masks or they have to stay physically separated due to social distancing, these are physical manifestations of the division that is already happening apart from those things. Tonally, the movie's taking a very satirical approach. It's also a bit of a thriller. It mainly focuses on the sheriff, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who's running for mayor, and the already mayor, Pedro Pascal. Starts off kind of like a typical Western. You've even got a standoff between the two of them in the street discussing their campaigns. But this is ultimately an ensemble film. There's a lot of different characters here, so very quickly the movie spirals, and there's all these different characters representing these different things. But I think Aster is able to control this chaos and keep things pointed through comedy. This is also exemplified by the constant presence of screens in the movie, social media posts, video recordings. These things are heavily weaponized in this movie, almost like a shootout or a robbery would be in a Western. Things that really raise the stakes in the story, and I think that this serves to illustrate how these things have taken a different form in modern society. Things that are just as, if not more dangerous, but are hiding under a veil of absurdity, ultimately making them even more of a threat, and I think that Aster is exploring how our ever-growing inability to take things seriously may just be our downfall. Aster's films are very densely detailed, so I will need a few more watches to pick up on everything. Even things that are briefly shown or in the background, like articles, billboards, graffiti, the performances of the extras. These things have constantly held a lot of weight in Aster's films, and I think that that is something to appreciate about him as a director, because everything is precisely directed. So I will need a rewatch, but I really liked this movie. It was kind of anxiety-inducing, just like his last one, but in a different way. Beau is Afraid was described as a nightmare comedy in tone, and I think that tone is carried over into a more grounded reality here. It's still just as much a nightmare, except now you're awake.